Okay, good afternoon, everybody. We're going to do a little bit of a review of what we talked about in class today. So again, let's just go ahead and share the screen. Again, this will be a little bit of a review of the previous one, but we did do these definitions again. These are the properties of logs. So again, just to remind you, kind of like your rules of exponents. So when I did the product, so when I said something like, x to the fifth times x to the fourth equals x to the 5 plus 4 equals x to the 9. That's kind of like x to the fifth times x to the fourth equals x to the 5 plus 4 x to the 9. That's kind of this product rule. So what it says is that if I have a product in here, so if this thing in here is a product, if it's two things multiplied or two or more things multiplied together, I can split it up into an addition. The quotient rule, again, it's kind of like our rule that if we said, x to the 9th divided by x to the 2nd, is x to the 9 minus 2, x to the 7th, I do that subtraction. That's what it's saying. If I take the log of a division, it's equal to the subtraction of the two individual logs. So the numerator minus the denominator. So again, 4 over 5, the log base stays the same 1/4. It's log 4 minus log 5. And then the last one, the power of powers, it's kind of like that thing we dealt with where we were talking about stuff like this, where we had x cubed to the 5th. And we distributed or multiplied, so x to the 3 times 5, x to the 15th. That's what we're really doing. But if you really want to think about it, it basically says I can bring the exponent to the front. So it says I can do. So that's the rules. And usually the bigger one is you're going to be going backwards. So let me do a couple just to kind of show you what we did. So what we had is we had these equations. Log 7, 4 plus log 7x plus 7 equals 2. So there's an addition in there. There's a plus. So what that tells me is we're abiding by this rule, the plus, we can turn it into a multiplication. So I can turn this two pieces into one piece with a multiplication. So this becomes log base 7, 4 times x plus 7. I brought them back together with the multiplication equals 2. And now we use the rules of how we put exponents back together. So again, if you remember this, where we said log a of x equals y, it's this base down here raised to this power, so a to the y equals x. So it's this raised to this equals this. So what I can do is I can do this 7 raised to the second power, so 7 to the second power equals 4 times x plus 7. And what this does, this becomes like algebra 1. So 7 squared is 49. If we distribute, we get 4x plus 28. And then we solve for x, minus 28, minus 28, 21 equals 4x. Divide both sides by 4, and you get x equals 21/4. So that's what we did today in terms of bringing them back together. So again, let me show you a couple. So like number 20, log 7 plus log 7. So these two logs are the same, so I can condense. And what it would be is it'd be 3 times negative 6 equals 1. So it's not an addition or subtraction, it's a multiplication. So this would end up being log base 7 of negative 3x equals 1, because 3 times negative x is negative 3x. Again, I follow my rule, 7 to the first power equals negative 3x. So 7 equals negative 3x. Divide both sides by negative 3. We find out that x equals negative 7/3. So that's what we do when it's an addition. Okay, that's what we do when it's addition. So give those a shot and see if you got them. The next one I'm going to do is what happens if it's a subtraction. So I'm going to do this one down here. We're going to do the subtraction. So since it's a subtraction, the rule on a subtraction is what we do is we turn it into a division. So since that's a minus sign in between, it's this number divided by this number. So in this case, since there's a minus, I can rewrite this as log base 6, 5x divided by 3. And that equals 1. So I brought the minus back together as a division. And now 6 to the first equals 5x over 3. 5x divided by 3. And then to solve that, multiply both sides by 3. 18 equals 5x or we're used to seeing it as 5x equals 18. Divide by 5, divide by 5, and x is going to equal 18/5. 18/5. So that's what we did today in terms of just reviewing or closing the loop from last Thursday's class. So that's the first part. I'm going to stop this one now, and we'll go ahead and pause this recording.